Hi, I'm Chris Dabbs. In today's episode, Tehran defies Western ultimatums. Tehran, US infrastructure threats are an admission of war crimes. Ukrainian UAV strikes civilian cargo ship in Sea of Azov. 2 aircraft destroyed in botched rescue. And US Patriot missile malfunction hits Bahraini oil infrastructure. This is your daily news roundup. Everything that matters, all in one place. No fluff, just the key updates. Let's begin. The Hormuz standoff. Tehran defies Western ultimatums. Tension in the Middle East has reached a breaking point, and despite an aggressive campaign of strikes by the US and Israel, Tehran is refusing to back down. We are now seeing a total collapse of diplomatic efforts as Iran rejects what it calls unacceptable terms from Washington. According to reports from the Wall Street Journal, Iranian officials have flatly rejected a US proposal for a temporary ceasefire. The deal offered a pause in hostilities, but only if Iran surrendered its greatest strategic leverage, the Strait of Hormuz. Tehran's response was clear: sovereignty is not for sale. Sources close to the Iranian leadership state that a temporary truce is merely a tactical maneuver by the West to regroup. They refuse to open the world's most vital energy artery while Western-backed aggression continues. Regional powers are scrambling to prevent a total regional war, but their efforts are hitting a wall. Mediators from Turkey, Egypt and Pakistan have attempted to facilitate a breakthrough. However, those talks have ended in failure. Tehran has reportedly informed these mediators that it is not ready to meet with US representatives in Islamabad. The Iranian leadership has characterized the American demands as unrealistic, refusing to sit at a table while under the shadow of a US ultimatum. The stakes could not be higher. Washington has issued a direct threat: open the strait or face the destruction of critical infrastructure, including power plants and oil wells. Instead of de-escalating, the US-Israeli alliance is doubling down on a policy of economic warfare. But as the deadline approaches, Iran warns that any strike on their coastal facilities will trigger a response that the global economy is not prepared to handle. With the mediators sidelined and the US refusing to abandon its aggressive posture, the window for peace is closing. The question now is not if the conflict will escalate, but how far the West is willing to go. Tehran, US infrastructure threats are an admission of war crimes. The rhetoric between Washington and Tehran has escalated to a dangerous new level. Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi has issued a blistering condemnation of recent American threats, labeling the intent to target Iran's energy grid as a direct admission of war crimes. According to Minister Araghchi, any military action directed at civilian infrastructure, including power plants and oil facilities, is a flagrant violation of international law. In a statement released by the Foreign Ministry, Araghchi argued that by publicly threatening to obliterate the country's energy sector, the US leadership is documenting its own intent to commit atrocities against the Iranian people. This diplomatic firestorm follows a series of ultimatums from Washington regarding the Strait of Hormuz. The US has warned that unless the maritime blockade is lifted, it will strike vital Iranian infrastructure. Araghchi responded by stating that these threats only highlight the desperation of the Western alliance and their disregard for the humanitarian consequences that would follow the destruction of power and water desalination plants. Furthermore, Araghchi has called on international bodies, including the UN and the IAEA, to condemn these what it calls illegal attacks, warning that strikes on infrastructure, particularly near nuclear sites like the Bushehr power plant, risk triggering a regional radioactive catastrophe. Despite the mounting pressure, Tehran maintains that it will not negotiate under the shadow of such threats, asserting that its defense will continue until full deterrence is achieved. Pentagon's costly blunder: 2 MC-130J aircraft destroyed in botched rescue. The US military has suffered a massive and embarrassing logistical failure deep inside hostile territory. According to a report by the Wall Street Journal, the US was forced to intentionally destroy 2 of its own MC-130J Commando 2 aircraft during a high-stakes mission to rescue a downed F-15E pilot in Iran. Each of these highly specialized aircraft is valued at over $100 million, bringing the total loss for this single operation to a staggering $200 million. excluding the cost of an MH-6 Little Bird helicopter that was also reportedly abandoned and destroyed at the site. The mission, which took place in the desert near Isfahan, became a tactical nightmare when the advanced transport planes landed on a makeshift airstrip. While the pilot was successfully recovered, the two MC-130Js became stranded. Officials have been vague regarding the exact cause, but reports suggest a combination of mechanical failure and the aircraft becoming bogged down in soft desert sand. With Iranian forces closing in and no way to repair or extract the massive planes, US commanders ordered them to be blown up on the ground. The decision was made to prevent Iran from capturing the high-tech sensors, communication arrays, and electronic warfare suites integrated into the Commando 2 airframe. This incident marks one of the most expensive accidental losses of aviation equipment in the history of US special operations. While the White House is attempting to frame the mission as a daring success, because the pilots were saved, the smouldering remains of two $100 million aircraft in the Iranian desert tell a much more chaotic story of a mission that spiraled out of control. US Patriot missile malfunction hits Bahraini oil infrastructure. The reliability of Western air defense systems is under intense scrutiny following a catastrophic malfunction in Bahrain. Reports indicate that a US-operated Patriot interceptor missile intended to neutralize an oncoming Iranian drone instead veered off course and struck the Bapco Energy's oil storage facility. The impact ignited a massive fire at the fuel storage tank, sending plumes of thick black smoke over the island nation. While Bapco officials confirmed that the blaze has since been extinguished and reported no immediate injuries, the incident highlights a dangerous pattern of technical failures by US hardware in the region. This is not an isolated event. Independent researchers and local media have documented previous instances where Patriot missiles, valued at millions of dollars per unit, have malfunctioned and crashed into residential areas in Manama and Rifa. In the latest failure, the friendly fire from the interceptor caused more confirmed damage to critical energy infrastructure than the threat it was supposed to stop. The Pentagon has frequently blamed these incidents on the intensity of Iranian drone swarms, but the repeated failure of the Patriot system to distinguish between targets and civilian infrastructure is raising serious questions among Gulf allies. For Tehran, the incident serves as further proof that Western military intervention in the region is a source of instability, as US defense systems continue to pose a direct threat to the very partners they are meant to protect. Ukrainian UAV strikes civilian cargo ship in the Sea of Azov. While the world's attention is fixed on the escalating crisis in the Middle East, a disturbing development has unfolded in the Sea of Azov. A civilian cargo ship, identified as a Volgo Bolt-type vessel carrying wheat, has sunk following a targeted attack by a Ukrainian unmanned aerial vehicle. The strike occurred near the Arabat Spit, a strategically sensitive area. According to Vladimir Saldo, the Moscow-installed governor of the region, the vessel was hit while navigating neutral waters. The impact was catastrophic, causing the ship to take on water and eventually disappear beneath the waves. The human cost of the attack is still being tallied. Reports confirm that the ship's captain was seriously injured and has been hospitalized for urgent medical treatment, while 9 crew members, all Russian citizens, managed to reach the shore via a lifeboat capsule near the village of Strilkov. One senior officer was killed in the assault. At least 2 other crew members remain missing, and search operations are ongoing. Beyond the physical injuries, officials emphasize that the surviving sailors are in a state of severe shock. They are currently receiving both medical and psychological assistance to cope with the trauma of the sinking. Moscow has condemned the attack as a terrorist act against civilian maritime infrastructure and a clear violation of international shipping laws. The escalation in the Sea of Azov marks a dangerous expansion of the conflict, as non-military vessels are increasingly being caught in the crosshairs of Ukrainian drone operations. And if you made it all the way to the end, thank you. I truly appreciate your time. I'll see you again in 24 hours.